What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've got some updates on this thing. I did crankcase vent loop, and I did my gas tank vent line all the way up. This was a free mod. I did this without having to do anything, and it does look like I'm probably going to have to trim my plastics up in there because it looks like it's pinching that gas line off. The vent line. Vent line is important when you're snorkeling something on the gas. When I pulled this off, I actually had mud and water up in here, so I had to blow that out, clean it out real good. That's what lets your gas tank vent to atmosphere so it doesn't pull a suction on it, and it also lets it suck in. If it gets too cold, it tries to collapse the tank. There's a one-way check somehow that works. I'm not too sure how it works on the top, but it works back and forth. If there's suction on the tank, it'll drop down and let air come into it to pop the tank back, and if there's too much pressure built up, it'll push it up and vent the access to atmosphere. That runs to the top of the snorkel. I did the crankcase vent loop. That was a $6 mod. It's a 1/2-inch heater hose is what I used. I bought it at O'Reilly's, $6. And what I did is I looped it. You can see these two loops right here. That's the heater hose. I went from the bottom, looped it once, looped it twice, came back down, clamped it back in to the air box. If I get the air box, if I sink it, which I've done twice so far, luckily no water got my oil, but if I do sink it, it'll have to overcome this bubble right here, this air bubble. It's exactly at the top of my air box, and then the second one is above my air box, so it'll have to overcome that loop before it'll loop back down and get into my oil. Some other things I did is I redid my dielectric grease 1, 2, 3. I did all the battery, all the ones up here in the connections. I redid the ones that are underneath this piece right here. I did all those, the 3 relays on the wrenches. I think there's 4, possibly 5 on the Rubicons. I did my fan, pulled this apart, did all my dielectric grease in here. I did not dielectric grease inside this, and I have not done any of this yet, any vented any of that. I don't plan on going that deep next weekend on Extreme when I go down to Houston. These have a bunch of dielectric grease in them already, so I wasn't worried about that. I re-dielectric greased almost every plug that was in there and on the side. Made sure this was sealed good. What else did I do? Dielectric greased. Already had my battery when my deal got done. I already had all that re-dielectric greased for me. Cleaned it off a little bit. Got it detailed up pretty good. Got it shining finally again. Re-dielectric greased up underneath here my winch contactor right there. Pulled the top off, re-dielectric grease, battery protected, all that stuff. Did a full check over on the wheel bearings. Readjusted my headlight, my light bar. It was pointed down. It was pointed right at the bottom right there for whatever reason. Now when I turn it on, it's lifted up a little higher. Did all my fluids, did the oil. I switched up to oil. I'm starting to run this Amsoil synthetic in it. 1040. Buddy at his shop runs it all the time, and all of his never had any issues with it. Topped off the radiator, made sure that was good. Smoke tested it because I did pop the top off here, and redid the seal. I used marine grade grease, as you can see. I have not found the OMC seal yet. As soon as I find an OMC seal, I will be using the OMC seal. Made sure my exhaust wasn't clogged. Re-dielectric greased that plug. Re-dielectric greased these plugs. What else did I do to it? Fixed my oil leak I was having on the Ranchers, Rubicons, and Foremans. I don't know if the old ones or not. Here's the part number. Right there, there's a small O-ring on the oil filter. Housing, redid that. That is my used O-ring. There's the part number for the O-ring for the oil filter. Every time I do oil filter, I do both the O-rings now. For whatever reason, they get to leaking. Getting ready for that. I'm getting parts together like this stuff right here, those 2 jugs, that little baggie right there. There's some other parts that are in my shed. Taking all of these parts, I gotta go through that box actually, because there's some good Rancher and Rubicon parts in that. Clutches and what have you. Taking all these to a guy down there in Houston area. Checked out my wheel bearings, like I said, topped off the front diff, the rear diff. Actually drained and filled it, top with that. And I found this at the Honda dealership that I go to. It's Kawasaki oil. 8090, it's the same as the Honda oil. GL4 Hypoid. And just so you think I'm messing with you over here, here is a bottle that I carry with me. There's 8090. You see GL5 and GL4. As long as it's GL4, you're good. I run that in my front and rear. I need to get my brakes bled, and that's what I'll be using. .4. This stuff is clear, so you can tell when it goes bad. For whatever reason, Honda, in their infinite wisdom, used brown brake fluid. I don't know why. The leftover scraps that I had from doing the crankcase vent loop, there it is right there, guys. I think I cut off about 2.5 foot is what I measured, maybe 3. And here is what I used. Right there, it was, like I said, it was $6. I had these already sitting around. It's the ones that I used. Cleaned it up, got everything re-dielectric grease, like I said. Re-dielectric grease my headlights where they plug into. Only thing that I'm missing is the plugs that are underneath this piece, which whenever the radiator gets off and gets sent out to powder coating, because of this right here, you can see it chipped there, chipped there, chipped there, chipping there, there, big chips there, chip right there, some chips paint right there. Somehow there's a hair chip, like paint chip. There's some paint chips there. Behind this, there's a big paint chip on this whole piece, like right in here, chipped off. Not too sure why that, and it also is faded. It doesn't look like it is, but it actually is, and you can tell just because this is a different color than this. You can tell where the sun hits it all the time. This faded because that is actually the color that's paint matched to this, and it was Honda spray paint that I used, and then I cleared it. Guys, that is about it. Just figured I'd give y'all a quick update on everything. My 150-mile review on the left-handed throttle, I love it. Every time I get to use it, though, I'm in an area where I can't film it. But it has come in handy, that coupled with the oh crap strap. It's done amazing. I've had the ODI grips on here since I bought the four-wheeler new. That was the first upgrade I did. Love them. Still love them. A little thing that I did, kind of redneck, but I taped electrical tape around my rear brake handle. That way, whenever if I'm in a mud hole and I need to get to reverse real quick, I don't have to pull this down to hit reverse. It's already there. Plus, I've deleted my rear brakes because the brake lines, I could never find extended brake lines for it. So I just deleted that, and that left me with that. So I figured I'd do that, and it kind of looks a lot better than zip tying it. If anybody has any other recommendations, let me know. But that's been on there for about 50 miles so far, and it hadn't given me any issues. You can see I've got my cooler still back here. But that is about it, guys. I was looking into the floorboards, but they just look trashy to me because they get rid of this right here. If they would make a piece that would actually fit that, I would actually buy them because it just looks trashy to me with all of that exposed, as well as, let me turn on some light over here, as well as this piece over here exposed, all of that where your pull cable would go. And I'm pretty sure if you do the floorboards, you can't access your crank bolt in the back to hit top dead center anymore. I think you actually have to go from underneath, which is a big pain in the rear end. But that is about it, guys. Thank y'all for watching. More to come. I've actually got one of my buddies that he just put his bike on a lift and a stretch in 32s that I cut for him, some 32 terms that I cut for him. We're actually going to be doing a snorkel, all the vent lines, gear reduction, radiator relocation kit, and a couple of other things. I think we're going to rewire a lot of stuff because he's actually getting my plastic piece here because he's going to use these two holes and that hole over there for his front light bar or rear light bar, and I think his whips and headlights, or maybe it was front light bar, headlights, and whips. I'm not too sure. Anyway, there's 3 holes on this one. His is all torn to crap. I mean, all this is broken and cracked, so he can't use anything really. And I've already got a new piece over there to get rid of those holes and fix a couple other issues that I had with this piece. There is a crack somewhere up in here from something I can't remember. Anyway, that, and then also when I drilled these holes, they were just a hair too big, I think. And whenever the dealership did some stuff, they trimmed here and cut some stuff, and I think that's how the crack happened. I think the crack is like right in here. But that is about it, guys. Sorry for the ugly winch cable wrapped around. That was my mistake. I bought too big of a winch cable, and now I got at least 15 feet, if not more, wrapped around my bumper because my winch can't hold it. That's about it, guys. Thank y'all for watching.